Recently, there were reports on CNN about how Dahn Yoga may or may not be a cult. They called it a special investigation, which is fine, but we found that much of the information was simply untrue. We're not sure if this was intentional or if they were simply misinformed, but one thing for sure is they did not do their research properly. Here, we will reveal the truth.
Ilchi Lee is seldom seen in public. That's why this event is packed.
CNN is claiming here that this event is packed because Ilchi Lee is seldom seen in public. A simple visit to ilchi.com will show his schedule for public lecture tours. Since 2008, Ilchi Lee has had public lectures in cities such as Los Angeles, Seattle, Chicago, Washington, D.C., New York City, Houston, Tokyo, and Geneva. Let's not forget the Brain Art Festival in August of 2009, which took place at Radio City Music Hall with about 5,000 in attendance.
Dahn Yoga's Mago Earth Park.
CNN calls this Dahn Yoga's Mago Earth Park. They were even at the event, but they did not realize that the Mago Earth Park has nothing to do with Dahn Yoga. It is private property owned by Ilchi Lee, which he has given permission to Tao Fellowship to operate and maintain.
According to this video, Ilchi Lee is the messenger of a new creation story.
Next, CNN tries to make Dahn Yoga and Ilchi Lee look like a cult by saying that this video we showed is some new creation story and Ilchi Lee being the messenger of it, when in fact, this story of Mago dates back thousands of years in ancient Asian culture. If you wish, you can see this video in its entirety at magoearthpark.org, and I'm sure most of you will find that this video is very far from what CNN claims it to be.
They believe some of the money they spent, which was supposed to help the world, instead supported an extravagant lifestyle.
CNN goes on to suggest that money from Dahn Yoga is used for Ilchi Lee's extravagant lifestyle. However, it has been many years since Ilchi Lee passed on ownership of Dahn Yoga to his students. They go on to show this house in Sedona, Arizona. However, we found that this house does not belong to Ilchi Lee or his company. In fact, it belongs to Tao Fellowship, a non-profit organization. Next, we are shown this picture of Oasis Arabians, located in Cottonwood, Arizona. We went to see for ourselves what the situation was at this ranch. However, we were surprised to see a for rent sign and not a single horse in sight. The manager of Oasis Arabians claims that it has been years since they have had horses. CNN has repeatedly shown footage of reporter Kira Phillips and her camera crew approaching Ilchi Lee, bombarding him with questions in a rude and inappropriate manner. Then, they tried to play the victims by saying that Ilchi Lee was surrounded by bodyguards, implying that they were touched and harassed. Going through this footage, we identified only Ilchi Lee's secretaries, family members, event staff, and guests. Not a single bodyguard was in sight. With a little research, CNN would have discovered that Ilchi Lee is an expert martial artist and had run his own martial arts studio from the age of 20. We sat down with James Cottle, one of the alleged bodyguards, to discuss what really happened.
My role at the event was to guide Mr. Lee to the opening of the Mago statue, so to the ribbon cutting, and on the pathway towards the ribbon cutting, we got ambushed by the CNN reporters.
Mr. Lee, I'm Kira Phillips for CNN.
They were asking directly to Mr. Lee about sexual allegations, and I thought that was very inappropriate.
We just want your response to the allegations of sexual assault against one of your former Dahn masters.
We asked them to stop filming and to stop asking questions because we were under a tight time frame at the time, and we also advised them that we would have a proper interview afterwards.
And they weren't happy with that response, that they can sit down afterwards and actually have a proper interview? They didn't want to talk like civilized humans?
No, they just continued to attack Mr. Lee.
As you can see, CNN's report is filled with falsehoods. If you would like to know the truth, please visit DahnYogaVoice.com, where you can find legal facts and voices of those who are practicing Dahn Yoga, as well as instructors. In the next video, we will reveal the true story behind the lawsuit.